Hello, race fans, and welcome once again to another high-octane episode of Trackside, proudly presented by Document Technologies. Document Technologies provides a comprehensive range of managed solutions, including multifunction devices, managed print services, and document management software. They're also known for their fast service, boasting an average response time of 2 hours or less, and offer high-quality product multifunction devices alongside document management and cloud hosting software. Stay tuned, racing enthusiasts, because the action starts right now, right here on Trackside.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Trackside. We have an exciting program for you this evening. I'm Terry Turner alongside Randy Dye. And Randy, we have maybe a one-time sponsor. The Tootsie Pop is going to be sponsoring tonight's show.
I love them, man. I'm a little bit biased. I kind of like those cherry ones, but that's my favorite.
That's funny. That's my favorite as well. I do like the brown ones or chocolate ones sometimes, but the cherry one is my favorite. And I'm impatient because a lot of times I'll crack through to get to the center instead of doing the whole Tootsie Pop. What you got? Any habits like that or no?
Yeah, don't you remember that commercial? It was the how many licks does it take to get to the center? And you have that little owl character, and he'd go, yeah. 1, 2.
Oh my gosh, I forgot.
2. Yeah.
Well, that is so cool. We love Tootsie Pops. We grew up with Tootsie Pops, and I would like to get one as soon as I can. But I'd kind of forgotten about them. So leave it to you younger guys to remind me of the great past that we've lived through, Randy.
Amen. Yep. When life was simpler.
Say that again?
When life was simpler. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, hey,
it was almost like a Tootsie Pop world back then. It was very simple. My wife calls me the past man, so sometimes I revert to the past. Randy, speaking of the past, it brings up an interesting question. We've got so much to cover. We're going to maybe do things a little bit differently for tonight's show, but you have been a NASCAR fan and involved with NASCAR for the most part of your life. So this question is because you've been team owner and involved with Daniel, fan, all aspects. You know the Petty family, etc. You know a lot about the sport. You got me into it. So here's the question: in the heat of a race, like last week in the Cup race, all the stuff going on in the heat of the race, is it okay to tell your crew chief to shut up on the radio?
Well, I think that really depends a lot on the relationship you have, right? Because if you don't know each other and you just kind of just work, I would say the answer to that is no. If you are working together regularly and you have that kind of relationship, I played a lot of sports with a lot of guys that I could say shut up, or they could say shut up to me, and I wouldn't feel a bit put out by it, right? But somebody that comes new or the opposition, maybe, probably not a good idea. So I think you gotta. It really, the answer to that depends on the relationship. Likely, my opinion is that they probably had a good enough relationship, and it's all good. But every once in a while, stuff gets sideways, and people get sideways, and especially in the heat of the battle, in the heat of the competition, you say things, and everybody keeps it. The whole point of this is you got to keep it in that context. Don't take it out of context. The competition, and we've said this many times. The perfect example is there's a lot of guys that race, and when they're speaking, either when they're in the car or when they just immediately get out of the car, they're just completely nuts. They're not like who they would be when they're talking like you and I are right now. So you got to keep those remarks in context.
Gotcha. Okay, well, it just raised a question. I would never tell my baseball coaches to shut up. I can't. I think back and I see their faces. No, I would never tell my dad to shut up. Never.
No, but
or I wouldn't be here. What?
Yeah, but
Say
that's
it again.
different. It's different. It's not. I think you're talking about a coach, and a coach is the boss in the situation you just described. In the racing world, the crew chief and the driver they're kind of like pilot and co-pilot, and they can sometimes switch seats. So I think that's a little bit different. And I would say again, back to the point of putting it in context. I remember one time when I was racing, and we were at Speed Weeks, and it was the World Series of Asphalt. There was a lot going on, and I went out to practice, and I'm going down the back stretch at New Smyrna Speedway, wide open, and the throttle hung on my car, and it was like it's that'll get your attention, okay? And I went on the radio and I told my crew chief, "Hey man, the throttle just hung." And he said, "Well, obviously you didn't wreck." I said, "No, I pulled it back." Okay, so he pulled it back. He said, "Go get it, go after it, get it again." And I did it again, and the throttle hung. And so, I said, "I'm bringing it in." He says, "Why are you bringing it in?" I said, "Because the throttle hung." So I go back in. He messes around. He says he couldn't find anything. He says, "Get back out there." I said, "I'll tell you what. You get your big fat butt in that seat, and you go back out there."
Oh my.
Okay. So, but he, I love him. I absolutely love him. He's a great guy. Today we still text and talk, and I haven't driven a race car competitively since 2018, I think it is. Yeah, 2018, something like that.
Yeah, that's when you raced Daniel, right? Was that 2018?
Yeah, that's right. Yep. So, and he was the crew chief then, by the way. Yep.
Okay. Well, I just asked. It probably would have. Nobody would have said anything. The media kind of touched on this because it was Ty Gibbs, and being such a young driver, and his record so far, and some of the things he says. We won't get into all that, but I just wanted your opinion on it because if I'm a young Cup driver, I'm not sure I would tell much. Anyway, that's just me. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not. I mean, I've been fairly critical of Ty Gibbs at certain times, but sometimes you just don't want to hear it.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah, and you just now maybe there's another way to have said it, but sometimes you just don't want to hear it. I mean, what Ty Gibbs is probably thinking in that moment, I'm giving it everything I've got. I'm busting my butt. I don't want to go slow. I want to go fast. So why are you giving me the dickens? Shut up.
Okay. Well, that kind of clears it up. That's a good point. This is why I ask. No doubt about that. I said we're going to do things a little bit different. Obviously, we're going to get into the local and all the things that we do, but a couple of big announcements this week. NASCAR has announced the 2026 National Series schedules, and I'm not going to give you all of it right now because I'm going to save a little bit of it for the trucks, but the new schedules got new and returning venues, highlight season schedule, including 3 National Series competing on the streets at a naval base, Coronado, and San Diego. The NASCAR Championship weekend will return to Homestead, Miami. The NASCAR All-Star Race will be moving to Dover Speedway, and the Cup Series points races returning to Chicagoland Speedway and North Wilkesboro Speedway in 2026. And I'm going to save one more, but very interesting and expanding and certainly newsworthy for the 2026 schedule.
Yeah, I've looked at all 3 series, and there's some stuff. I do. You're right. I mean, they certainly. This used to be like a yawner when they would announce the schedule for the following year because it was essentially the same as it was the current year or the year before that and the year before that, and they've kind of gotten into this surprise mode. One of the surprises to me is I really thought that they were going to be going to Canada for at least the what will now be the Riley Auto Parts series cars, but that's not there. I certainly found one on the truck series that I went, you got to be kidding me. And you know, so
about that one.
Yeah, I figured you were. That's why I just said it the way I said it. But it's become an event.
Oh yeah.
You know, this launching the schedules and releasing the schedules, and I'm glad that we got them in August. Now you can kind of plan a little bit,
right?
And you know, Miami Homestead in November. Well, let's just pray there's no hurricanes, right? So, you know, I think it's interesting. The schedule is very interesting. Chicagoland is a big deal to return there, no question. That's kind of exciting, and I think it's going to be well received. I think people are going to like that one again.
Well, you've just given me a nice bridge here, speaking of people going to like, because NASCAR announced this week that they're going to be on the Roku channel. It is a free ad-supported streaming television, the FAST network. It kicked off on the 19th, which I believe was Wednesday. And NASCAR channel offers 24/7 program with no subscription or registration required. Viewers can enjoy a mix of classic NASCAR races, delayed broadcasts of current season events, live coverage, documentaries, Sirius XM NASCAR's radio morning drive. In addition, fans can now watch the channel across even a wider range of platforms, including, of course, Roku, but Xumo Play, Tubi, Samsung TV Plus, Prime Video, and more. Give you some examples here, Randy. August 23rd, the Ag South Farm Credit 150 at Bowman Gray Stadium. That's modified. That'll be live. September 27th, Valley Star Credit Union 300 at Martinsville. That's late models. October 12th, Wayland Modified at Thompson Speedway. At Thompson Speedway Motors Park, excuse me. And then December 5th, I'm so excited about this, the Snowball Derby qualifying day at Pensacola is going to be up there. Just one of many. I've kind of gone through it and looked at it a little bit, and it's just amazing what we're going to be able to see. There's tons of choices and history and old stuff and new stuff, and wow, what a great way to reach a lot more folks, Randy.
It's awesome. I love the idea. So this for me, I think this feels really good, because what you just said about the old stuff, the new stuff, you know, the not so old stuff. You kind of find your generation, and I like. I'm not going to tell you I watch old races from start to finish, but I watch old races in pieces and parts. And it's interesting because at this stage of my life, it's different than it was when I watched it in person or live on TV back in the day. And it's interesting to see the different perspective. I like the idea that it's not all one generation. I like it that it's multiple generations, because you know, the core fan is still the core fan. And then as I've traveled around this country, there's a lot of first-time NASCAR fans and that come to certain races, and it's fun to be able to share that experience with them. So I think this is great. This is a great combination. Looking forward to seeing how it works, and also just kind of selfishly looking forward to being able to turn it on myself.
Absolutely. I don't have cable and all that. Roku is how I get all my streaming, and you know, super cool. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. They're brilliant. I hope, Randy, that you know, both of us are marketing guys. I hope they run promos on the Roku channel as to where to find the races. Lots of promos.
I got to believe they will. That has to be part of this. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. With that, ladies and gentlemen, just wanted to cover some of this cool stuff, and we have a lot more cool stuff to cover, so don't go anywhere. Let's roll into the local section of the Trackside program right now.
One Daytona, located across from the world's center of racing, is proud to present our local segment, where we talk with a local star in your part of the country following a big win, event preview, and much more. One Daytona in Daytona Beach is a vibrant destination offering an array of shopping, dining, and entertainment options, including unique events and live music suitable for families and individuals alike.
Hey, race fans, great fall racing coming up at Volusia Speedway Park starting next weekend on the 29th. That's the next Friday night. The Labor Day Classic all the way through Sunday, starting with the Classic Test and Tune on Friday night. Lots of great action last Saturday night with the David Rogers Super Late Model Twin 50s. A very familiar name sweeps both features 1 and 2 in the David Rogers Twin 50s. That'd be Brad May. In the Sportsman, Will Robinson, Bomber B, Zach Curtis, 602 Tour Mods, Chris Hatton. New Smyrna Speedway takes a break for this weekend. Back next Saturday night with the Advanced Auto Parts Family Fun Night featuring sprint cars. That's $10 general admission. You'll also see Mod Minis, Black Jack Seal Coating Bomber A's, Bomber B's, Florida Southern Ground Pounders, and spectator races. Lots of family fun for $10. And next Friday night at Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola. Check out the Road to Snowflake number 3. That's a 100-lap preliminary. Also the Alan Turner Pro Late Models, Pro Truck, Sportsman, and Crown Stocks. In NASCAR at Richmond, the Xfinity guys took a night off. Corey Hine gets the truck win again. That guy is on fire. And in the Cup Series, Austin Dillon in the black number 3 gets the win. And the crowd was definitely on their feet. NASCAR comes home to the Daytona International Speedway tonight with the Xfinity guys starting at 7:30. You'll see that on CW. The Cup guys Saturday with the Coke Zero Sugar 400 starting at 7:30. That's on NBC. Pay attention, race fans. That's on NBC. All right, Randy. So this brings me to a little quiz for you. You ready?
Okay.
Hope you're paying attention. Where can the races be seen starting tonight and tomorrow night at the Daytona International Speedway? Where can people find them?
I think that'd be on NBC.
The Cup race is on NBC, and of course, the Xfinity race on CW. You've done very well, Grasshopper. No doubt about that. So, we just want to make sure you can find your races because, I know you get calls and questions. So do I. But where's the race this weekend? So anyway, we're working on it, and it's getting better all the time. Welcome home, NASCAR. And, Randy, looks like the weather's going to be okay. Things are looking good for the race tonight. And Saturday night, under the lights with the Cup guys, is always a thrill at the Daytona International Speedway. And Daniel Dye is going to be on the track in the 10 tonight. So, wow. I think you'll be leaving right after this show and headed to the racetrack. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Indeed. I look forward to this. Daniel likes, obviously, Daytona. It's his home track, and he, has run good there. He ran good there in the Xfinity car in the part-time season we did. Got caught up in a soaked infield trying to avoid another wreck. That didn't go well, and then he was running really good at the end of the truck race the year after, the same year actually. Looked like had a chance, a real chance for a great finish, and then Raja caused the wreck that got everybody messed up, and poor Taylor Gray went up in the air and landed on Daniel and his truck and broke the steering column and kind of pinned him in the car. And then last year, Jesse got into Brandon Jones and took Daniel out on, I think, lap 4 or 5, whatever it was, and that was really disappointing. But the car was good. You could see it was good on the few laps that it ran. It was good in qualifying. And, actually qualifying, we got rained out, but the little bit of on-track experience we had, it was really good, and he was excited, and then almost immediately disappointed. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, it's got to be exciting and a little unnerving both ways. I just want to make sure that you are in your seat and face the racetrack. You can't turn around in your seat and get scared. I know it's unnerving to have Daniel at the Daytona International Speedway with all the things that happened, but he's got some great experience on the super speedways now. He's going to do great, right, Randy? Yeah,
he said, he's run good at Talladega, so I the thing you got to try to do, and it's hard because this race, especially in the summer, is only 100 laps. This is a 250-mile race, so it's quick. You don't get this is not the it's not like running the race in February. It's you got to go. I mean, you just have to go. And no time to relax, no time to ride. Everybody's going to be fighting for positions. You got to figure out who your partners are going to be quickly, and hope that they stay true to their word and you all race together. I'm looking forward to Justin Haley's driving the other colleague car in this race. Along with Daniel and Christian Eckes, and so that should provide some more experience and hopefully a teammate. Hopefully those guys can run together, and especially in the draft, and hold their position, gain some ground, and be around there at the end and see who will shake down for the win.
It's going to be exciting, no doubt. I will tell you, Randy, that I tried to get into the garage area to inspect Daniel's right side tires, but they would not let me back there. I'm not sure why. I told them who I was. They just turned me away.
Well, we hope that, Daytona is typically not real hard on tires. So we're hoping that we don't have any tire issues. I can't imagine there being any tire issues. As a matter of fact, depending upon the compound and how things are going that night, I could see guys, maybe not changing all four, getting a quick splash of fuel and go, because it doesn't beat up the tires like a lot of other racetracks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, let's hope so. And it's going to be exciting, no doubt about that. And all the best to Daniel Dye and the 10, our local hero. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, let's go right into the truck section of Trackside.
The Tough Trucks of NASCAR are next up on the agenda, presented by Aaron Delgado and Associates. With over 110 combined years of experience in criminal defense and personal injury, Aaron Delgado and Associates takes pride in vigorously representing clients in various challenging legal situations within the community. Now, let's go trucking.
Randy, this man is on fire, as you heard in the local cast there, that Corey Heim has won again. That's his 7th. That's series best. And that, Randy, I know time goes faster every year for us both. That rolls us into the playoffs now for the Truck Series.
Yeah, I mean, Corey Heim, without a doubt, is the hottest truck driver there, and not just this year. This isn't just a one year kind of deal. He's been that for the last couple of years, last 3 years really, in the Truck Series, and I think he would be hard to bet against to win the championship. What's interesting to me is not so much about how well he's done, because I hate to make this kind of like, oh well, yeah, that's the way I expect it, but it kind of is. I mean, he's that good, and he's been there long enough, and he gets it. So you're like, yeah, I mean, I could see Corey Heim winning 7. I could see him winning 10, 11. Honestly, he's that good, that experienced, and really just on it. What I'm surprised at, though, is the rest of the Tricon crowd is not anywhere close to Corey. So they've got usually 4 trucks in a race, and it's just not the organization isn't having the success that Corey Heim is having. I'm not saying that you would expect all the rest of them to have the same number of wins. I just mean if you look down through there, it's not the rest of the organization isn't having the same amount of fun. Let's put it that way.
Well, I'll tell you, it was interesting because, of course, Corey Heim won the pole and won the race, but Ty Majeski gave him a run for his money. Majeski won both the stages and led 143 of the 250 laps. So Heim comes back in there to win. So, yep, says a lot. I hope he stays in the Truck Series for at least another year. Randy doesn't move up. What do you say?
I think that one's over, man. I don't see him staying in the Truck Series another year. I think there's a ride for him. Probably quite probably in the Cup Series. I think you can see one of the things that's important to note. He's run a couple of those races. The transition from anything to the Cup Series is really difficult. And so Corey's still a pretty young guy. And you're not going to just go from whatever series you're in to the Cup Series and hit a home run. So they're going to need some time, and they're going to need some work. But I just don't see him back in that truck in 2026. Matter of fact, I mean, the rumor is that it's going to be Caden Honeycutt. Yeah.
Well, I guess time will tell. Corey has sure given us some excitement in the Truck Series. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. We'll wait and see. We'll let you know, folks, as soon as we know. This was a big one, Randy, for me. 26 years behind the wheel of the number 88 is Matt Crafton. And I was, somewhat surprised. He announced that he will retire after the 2025 season. This is a 3-time champion, a guy that won back-to-back championships. It looks like Ty Majeski, who gave Corey Heim a heck of a run this past week, will take over the duty in the number 88 for Thor Sport in 2026. 23 years with Menards. That's the longest-running driver primary sponsorship relationship in NASCAR history. So, what a career Matt Crafton has had. But, he hasn't run that great the last couple of years, so maybe it's just time, but he will be missed, Randy.
Well, I think, at least he's still somewhat competitive. And he hasn't, you're right, he hasn't run great, but he still can get out there and can compete. So my thought is, it's a good, he's made the decision, he's probably made it at the right time. You've seen people many times stay around too long. And all the good that they did, it gets kind of, they end up being noted for a blah 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 finish, right? And I think that you just highlighted some great things. 23 years with the same sponsor, and 26 years, I think, in the sport, in the Truck Series, and
right.
I don't even know how many races he's had, but. That's a pretty stellar career. I also think it's a great choice. Interesting to see Ty Majeski get the ride. The thing that didn't get said in this announcement, and I'm curious, does that mean that Thor Sport is going to reduce their entries from the 5 trucks that they normally have in a race to 4? Because while they announced that Ty was going to go to the 88. They didn't announce who was going to drive Ty's truck, if anybody.
That's true.
So,
yeah, I didn't.
5 trucks is a lot to race every week. But I was surprised by not what they said, but what they didn't say.
Well, it is interesting because typically in the press release you'd have all of that, but apparently it's possibility that the decision has not been made yet, and we'll let you know as soon as we know. But yeah, we're all curious. There's no doubt about that. You said it. 5 trucks is a lot. No doubt about that. We'll wait and see. Well, how about wait and see this, Randy? The first ever NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series street race is added to the 2026 Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, Florida. That will happen on February 28th. As part of the headliner will be the NTT Indy Series on March the 1st. But for the first time ever, a Craftsman Truck Series street race. That means, Randy, that Dodge will be involved in the street race on February 28th in my old hometown, St. Petersburg, Florida. How about that?
Yeah, well, to be clear, and, I know guys like you and guys like me, we always call it Dodge Ram, but it is different. And so I will say for the moment, it's going to be Ram is going to be involved in the Street Grand Prix. And, I understand the reason to do different kinds of racetracks and, around the country. I think it's proven to be successful. I think it's cool that they're going to go to Coronado and do the naval base, and all 3 series are going to go out there. I think that's very cool. But when you have the truck series and you have 25 races now, and 1/5 of those races are on the
road courses.
Road courses. That's just really, I think it's too much. So my instincts tell me there maybe should be 3 road course type races for the truck series, and that would be it. 5, I think, is too many. But that's, they didn't call me and ask me.
Well, it's interesting. And I'm a lover of St. Petersburg, the downtown area, and all of that of St. Pete. It's been interesting there. I mean, that Grand Prix has been running there for a while. But, yeah, to have the trucks there, it's going to be a sight to see. I agree with you. I mean, you don't think of trucks. When you think of road course, you don't think of trucks. But, hey, it is what it is. And they didn't ask me either, Randy. I can't believe that.
Yeah, well, it's with all due respect, I know that the quote unquote the Indy cars are the headline. The Truck Series has a bigger TV audience.
You think?
Just FYI, I know.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Statistically, yep.
Interesting.
So it is interesting, but anyway, that's it's the good news is if we're going to go, it's not that far to get to.
No, it's a nice ride. It's a nice ride over there. Always enjoyed coming across the Howard Franklin Bridge, no doubt about that. With that, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We have some more big news as soon as we get back. You're listening to Trackside. We'll be right back.
Introducing the all-new tractor and outdoor power equipment section at DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors. Now you can gear up for your outdoor projects with premium brands like Bobcat, Massey Ferguson, Shindaiwa, Echo, and more. Need a powerful lawnmower for that perfectly manicured lawn? They've got it. How about a rugged tractor to tackle those big projects? DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors has you covered. And let's not forget the Lawn and Garden Center with everything from weed whackers to chainsaws. Commercial or residential, DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors has the goods to keep you moving. So why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary? Visit DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors today at their new location and explore the thrilling world of outdoor power equipment. DeLand Motorsports and Outdoors, where the thrill of the ride meets the power of the great outdoors. Your journey begins here.
Welcome back to Trackside as we now take a look under the hood in the NASCAR Xfinity Series presented by Daytona's Garage. Daytona's Garage offers more than just standard dealership customization. They provide a comprehensive range of services for personalizing and enhancing cars, Jeeps, and trucks of any make and model, focusing on both aesthetics and performance with affordability. Reliable service. Now, back to Terry and Randy.
Well, Randy, you mentioned this earlier. It is a big deal. The Xfinity Series, now we're going to have to get used to calling the Xfinity Series the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. So a big announcement. O'Reilly Auto Parts, of course, been around and involved and so on and so forth. They're going to kick this off officially on January 1st of 2026. And, Randy, this is only the 4th entitlement sponsorship in history, following a huge dynamic tenure with the Xfinity, which really did a lot to bring the series to new heights and unprecedented fan engagement, innovation, exposure, et cetera. The series also included a 7-year run with Nationwide Insurance and a foundational relationship with Anheuser-Busch, which, of course, is still involved as a big NASCAR partner in the premier level. But this is a big one. What's a guy like Daniel Dye think about this kind of announcement?
Well, I think Xfinity is going to stay a part of, one of the big partners of the sport.
Right.
That's my understanding. And O'Reilly's is, O'Reilly's is really kind of back to that whole core NASCAR fan, who kind of works on their own cars, buys their parts. I mean, like we all did growing up. I think it's cool. I think it's the biggest challenge is going to be for the announcers, and being able to say O'Reilly instead of Xfinity is probably going to be hard for us. It's
no doubt.
But I think you say this oftentimes. You lead into this, but how cool it is to see new partners. And O'Reilly's has been kind of there, but to be the big corporate, series sponsor, that's a big deal. And I welcome them, and I hope that they do very, very well.
No, I think they will, and I think you said it. With O'Reilly, that's such a known brand to a lot of car folks, and I think it'll bring more folks to watch Xfinity races. There's no doubt about that. It's going to be awesome to see. Definitely, we'll watch and see. How about this one? Surprising to me, but Connor Zilisch is a young guy, and JR Motorsports representative confirmed to NASCAR that the 6-time winner and current points leader, Connor Zilisch, is slated to drive the number 88 in tonight's race. What do you think?
Well, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know how quickly he's healing. But I do know this about NASCAR. It's really not up to you. Once you've had that injury, you don't get to say, oh, I'm good enough. You have to go through a protocol, and you have to be medically approved, medically released to go compete again. So from that standpoint, I trust the system. Daniel has had a couple injuries himself, and there's a there's a very rigid protocol, not a lot of wiggle room in what you got to do to get back or to make sure that you don't have to sit on the sidelines. So I trust that, and it's I'm surprised, honestly. I think you probably remember I had some broken bones and still and didn't miss any sports. You tape stuff up and you kind of work around it. But in my case, it probably helped me really be able to dribble really well with my left hand because I broke my right one. But NASCAR, the speed, where the belts are, the broken collarbone, the metal plate. There's a lot going on there. I realize he's young and he's more like Gumby than he is like a potato chip. He bends, he doesn't break. You and I, we just break. We just break. Yeah,
and stay broken. Yeah,
and stay broke. Yeah, you don't come back. They try to put a plate in you and me. It's just sawdust. Just kind of just dust. They don't have anything to get a hold of. But I do believe in the protocol, and I do believe in their system, and I know that you can't just he can say all he wants, but he has to go through the protocol before they release him to race.
Well, and you said it. It's pretty serious, and he's been looked at carefully by doctors, et cetera. There's no doubt about that. The only thing that concerns me, I know he's young. I know he wants to be back in there. I get it. We've all had injuries and want to get back and play or drive, but with the last 20 laps at the Daytona International Speedway, we've witnessed it in almost every race. It makes me a little nervous for him, but Connor Zilisch doesn't appear to be the kind of guy that gets nervous, Randy, and he'll probably get in there and do a heck of a job.
Yeah, and I hope he does. I think what I said earlier about this particular race, you don't have a lot of time. You got to get up there and go. That's the one thing that concerns me. He doesn't get the opportunity to ride around in the back. He's going to have to get up there and go. And I'm sure because he's young and he's very healthy, I see him every week, I'm sure from a physical stamina position, he's good. And remember, they've had an off week. They were off.
Right.
So,
right.
So I'm sure from that standpoint he's good to go, but it is a little scary to me that injury is still as fresh as it is.
Well, and Junior himself, the owner at Junior Motorsports, has had some injuries and driving and all that, so he's overseeing this as well. Of course, NASCAR makes a final decision, but if Junior feels good about it, NASCAR feels good about it, Zilich feels good about it, and I'm excited that he's going to be out there. I hope he does great and that he's not going to have to miss more races and mess up the opportunity for a championship. So we will wait and see. Coming up in just a few minutes after this show, we'll see him on the racetrack. It says slated, unless something happens at the last minute. Right now, it's big bold letters, slated to be in the car. So we would probably know him by now. But anyway, go ahead, Randy.
I think what you'll see is he'll start the race. He'll qualify the car, which is fine. He'll start the race, and somebody is likely to be in that pit waiting for a pit stop to make a change if need be, or just because they are going to do it.
Right.
So,
right.
I don't think it says he's slated, which means he'll start the race. That doesn't mean he'll run every lap. And we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yep. Exactly. I hope he does. Real quickly before we go to the Cup section, we've discussed this many, many times on the program, but NASCAR is considering changing its rules in the coming seasons to allow its Premier Series drivers to moonlight in the lower tier National Series more often as the sport looks for the right balance between talent, development, and entertainment value. I don't agree, but it doesn't matter what I say. So that's what they're considering.
Yeah, they are considering it, and I think, interestingly enough, it's the absolute opposite of what I hear from fans. The fans don't want
right.
these guys, the Cup people racing in the other series. I think at the end of the day, each of these series kind of have their own identity. They all fall under the mother brand of NASCAR, but they have their own identities. And when you have a Cup driver, because there's the identity, coming and racing the Xfinity Series or the Truck Series, you kind of you change the identity. I don't think it draws that much better attention. I don't think anybody cares anymore that Kyle Busch runs a truck. I don't think, and I think the way that I hear most often the dissatisfaction with this expressed is that it could take a win away from a regular competitor who, if they do win, they're automatically in the playoffs. So
that's the whole point, yes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you are not eligible for the points championship, then you have to argue whether or not you should be counted at all. At all. Period.
Right.
If you want to come race, you can come race, but you don't count. Then why would you come race? Well, I don't know. And I think that's really where the rub is right now. Is you got, let's say you got a guy that's right on the bubble and he's trying to get into the race, and here comes one of the guys from the Cup Series and he takes a spot and pushes this guy back and he doesn't get the point. I mean, you hear where I'm going, and it's just
yes,
it messes it up.
Yep, that's what drives me crazy about it. You rob somebody else of opportunity to be in a championship, very possibly.
Yep.
No doubt about that. Well, let's roll right now as we run close to run out of time. Let's get into the Cup section.
UniFirst presents Conversation about the NASCAR Cup Series, the pinnacle in auto racing. Just like Cup, UniFirst is also the leader of the pack as the uniform and facility service experts. Let's go back to our hosts, Randy and Terry.
Well, Randy, I mean, we have to cover some of this. These kind of things remind me of politics, and we've all had enough of that, no doubt about it. But NASCAR states that there are many eager potential entrants who want to obtain Cup charters. and cite that among the reasons why a judge should not grant 2311 and Front Row Motorsports a preliminary injunction to receive benefits of a charter for the rest of the season. They are coming up on a hearing on August 28th, and denying the preliminary injunction could allow NASCAR to begin the process of selling the 6 available charters that 2311 and Front Row Motorsports claim they have the right to. And here's another section, a part of that. The big case comes to court on December 1st, and that could take 3 weeks, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even more. And so, if a team has bought or waiting to buy these charters, if they got to wait into the middle of December, that doesn't give them much time to prepare for the 2026 season. All those parts and pieces are playing here, so it becomes very interesting here to see what might take place.
Well, you've got a couple things. So, you know that Legacy Motorsports was expected that they were buying a charter from Rick Ware. So that was an interested party. You saw the guy from Spire Motorsports, former guy who's gone out and bought a charter, to 2 charters, actually. I do believe, there's no doubt in my mind, I believe that NASCAR has customers for the charters. No doubt in my mind. Now, that being said, you're going to see me go probably different than what you might expect. I'm not sure, though, that I think that the charters, in my view, obviously 2311 and Front Row Motorsports did not sign. And they sued, and they were receiving benefits under the charters for a period of time until NASCAR won the appeal. I think they should probably hold these charters in abeyance until such time as this issue is resolved. My gut instinct is telling me they will reach some sort of a settlement before then, but I'm not sure what it is. I have no idea, and I think it's going to be, does 2311 dig in, or do they roll the dice? Because at this point, it is a big dice roll, and it's costing them not only their attorney's fees, but all the other revenue during the time that they are not a chartered team, where they're simply an open team. So and the other thing from NASCAR's perspective, do you want Front Row Motorsports in the sport? I think they probably do. Do you want 2311 in the sport? I think you probably do.
Yes.
So you got to be a little bit careful about what you wish for.
Exactly. Well, there's a hearing on the 28th of August, which is coming right up. That was requested by 2311 in Front Row. We'll see what happens there. I mean, there's more to this drama, but I think your point is correct, Randy, and we'll see what happens. A lot of talk about Trackhouse racing and all the stuff that's going on there. There's some internal things. There is a sports organization called Heavy Sports, and they have released a press release. It says Tony Lunders, the chief operations officer, and Gary Putnam, the director of shop floor operations, have been fired at Trackhouse. According to the sources, both were longtime members of NASCAR industry. But the interesting thing, the sources that gave Heavy Sports this information have asked to be unnamed. So, is this fake news? We don't know. We'll see what happens, I guess, in the very near future. But that is happening over there. A lot of changes happening at Trackhouse. We'll see what happens. Well, I like this one. We'll close with this one, Randy.
Yeah, okay.
Did you want to comment on that one real quick?
Well, I did. There's been a lot of drama around Trackhouse for the last year plus, and so I don't doubt what's happened is what you reported. But we don't know why.
Right. It doesn't say anything about why exactly.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah. I like this information. Both of us like boats. SI Yachts will sponsor Casey Mears at Daytona in the Cup race. That's pretty cool. He'll be at the Coke Zero Sugar 400, and he is trying to he just likes 10 starts, Randy, of hitting 500 Cup Series starts. So SI Yachts, they produce Viking yachts and Valhalla Boat Works. Viking yachts, great sport fish that they make. But they say they're very excited to be a partner with Casey Mears on his journey to reach the prestigious milestone. So pretty cool to see. He'll be driving the number 66, the Garage 66 organization car. And hey, this is awesome to see Casey Mears still out there on the racetrack and looking to get 500 Cup starts. That'd be a big one.
Yeah, well, that's a lot. That's for sure. That's a lot.
No doubt about that. Well, Casey's been around the sport for a long time and open wheel, all the things that he's done. So pretty cool to see that. And another exciting new sponsor, as we talk about all the time. This is fun to see this. With that, ladies and gentlemen, lots of stuff going on. We'll keep you posted. Meanwhile, try to get out and see some racing. New Smyrna will be in action. If you can't get to the racetrack at the Daytona International Speedway, I bet you can still get through the gate for the Xfinity race tonight and Saturday night under the lights. Tomorrow night at Daytona, it'll be history making. So get out and see some racing. And hey, we'll see you right here next week on Trackside.
And with the checkered flag waving, we're wrapping up this week's edition of Trackside. Fear not, race fans, because we'll be back next week, proudly presented by Document Technologies. Tune in for a fresh new episode packed with engaging interviews, captivating conversations, and all the exhilarating moments you've come to expect. Until then, keep the racing spirit alive, and we'll see you next time on Trackside.